We have a very special guest in studio today. She is the founder of the Dognity movement and the Second Chance Ranch, the Great and Powerful, Tracy Rumpf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, it sounds like you got a lot going on here.
Yes.
So tell us about what is the Dognity movement?
Yeah. So the Dognity movement we started this a couple of years ago, and a lot of people don't realize that today, 10,000 dogs in the United States will be euthanized. Okay.
10,000 a day?
10,000 a day. So these are not mean dogs. They are not, some of them are maybe old, but we are in a rescue dog crisis. 10,000 awesome dogs that maybe were picked up as strays, or who knows how they got into the shelters or animal controls. 10,000 a day.
That's not counting ones that are just getting put down because of illnesses or anything like that.
Correct.
That's just 10,000 shelter dogs.
They are walking to the kennel, walking the dog back and putting them down because there is no room. And in these shelters, they are all overflowing throughout this country. And we started the dog. I've been in rescue for about 12 years, really fell into it. And over these 12 years, I have seen some really horrific things. I've seen some beautiful things, but I've seen some horrific things. And the biggest thing that I have seen is the number of dogs who are being killed every day.
That's crazy. I had no idea that there was that many.
Exactly. And so part of the Dognity movement is to educate the public about our best friend, man's best friend.
Right.
And what's really being done to them.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That was insane. I remember, so I played professional baseball, and one of the families that I lived with in Ohio, she would adopt or, what's the other term? She would foster dogs all the time. But there's a big Amish population out there. So they were like breaking into the Amish communities and stealing these dogs because of what they were doing to these dogs.
They are the worst puppy mill owners.
Yeah.
The Amish are.
They were telling me stories about
Yes.
this, and it made me sick to my stomach. It made me never want to support anything that they do ever again.
It's funny you say that because we have a rule at our house. You cannot buy anything Amish. None of their food, not furniture, nothing. Cannot support them.
Nope.
And it's not just dogs, it's their horses. They do not believe that animals have souls. So they feel that they can treat them however they want. And their puppy mills make them a lot of money.
Yeah. They were telling, like, one of the stories that I was told was basically they would have one female, they would throw her in the middle of a giant barn, and that they would, and around the barn were just cages that had multiple male dogs in each cage, to the point where they were on top of each other, and they had one giant lever that would open the doors, and all these male dogs, they're all in heat, all in this, and they would just attack and rape and abuse this female dog. And they don't know if they're related. They don't know if there's anything. And next thing you know, this female's pregnant, and then she has the litter. And if she happened to be impregnated by a sibling or something like that, and the dogs, there was any sort of abnormality or disability, they would just kill the puppy right then and there. It was insane. Like, the stuff that they were telling me, I'm like, fuck them people.
Yeah,
it's really heartbreaking.
No, it's terrible.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but Missouri is the puppy mill capital of the United States.
What?
For the
kidding?
the 12th year in a row.
Really?
We
Where?
are
Where is it like?
all rural areas,
Yeah.
Southeast Missouri, North, you name it. We do have an Amish population that is like that.
You see a good amount of Amish people. I mean, every time I go to the zoo.
Yes. No. Oh my gosh. We were there this summer, and I had all my kids with me. They're like, "Mom, don't say anything." They're walking by, and I'm like,
why would they be at the zoo? Animals don't have souls, right?
Exactly. And why are you driving a truck? I could go on.
100%.
You know what?
You're on this train with us.
Stay back where you need to be.
Yeah, well, I to be honest, I don't know if I've ever really heard anything negative about the Amish before.
Yes.
I had no idea that they were the puppy mill people.
Absolutely.
I've only ever heard of Amish furniture.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's the thing, is I haven't nothing since I heard about that back in. I lived there in 2011. So since 2011,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it won't have anything to do with.
And a lot of people don't. So I feel like you know better when you do better when you know better.
Mhm.
So you didn't know that we are the puppy mill capital of the United States. You didn't know that 10,000 dogs a day are being euthanized, and it kind of goes hand in hand because these puppy mills, they're only out to make money. So when they have their dogs start getting older that they breed, they toss them out and hope that coyotes get them. I mean, we've rescued some that are just starving, and they were, and it's so sad. If you're not really in rescue, you don't know these things. We're not necessarily publishing and, talking. We try to, but it's pretty brutal out there.
Wow,
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned before the show that you weren't like, the dog lady growing up. Like, what was this, the point? Like, there had to have been a kind of a tipping point where you're like, I just can't see this go by anymore. Like, what was that moment?
I will say this. So 12 years ago, I think I had a moment. I was getting ready to turn 50 in a year and a half. And I really asked myself, I'm like, are you living your intentional life, your purpose, outside of my husband and my children and my career, are you living your purpose? And really kind of, searched my soul about that. And a couple months later, I happened to see a post on Facebook, and it was a friend of mine, and she made this post, and I knew that she was in dog rescue. And she said, in Poplar Bluff, someone dumped a puppy in a dumpster. It had mange, which means it had no fur and was on fire, basically. Is there anyone who can go to Poplar Bluff and pick this puppy up and bring it back to a rescue here in St. Louis so we can get to the vet? I thought, oh, sure, I can do that. So I did it. I had no idea what I was doing. Was not prepared at all.
So did she just drive by or, walk by and see this? And just, or did she find the puppy and you picked it up from her?
There are these networkers, so there are women in Southeast Missouri who network to St. Louis to all the big rescues. And so someone found the puppy, was holding it.
Okay. I wasn't she's like, hey, it's in the dumpster. Go find him.
No,
whatever.
No. So why
didn't you grab him?
Right. So this person was just holding the dog, waiting.
Okay.
So I went and picked it up. This little 4-month-old female puppy, darling. She felt like she was on fire. And I set her in the seat next to me, wasn't prepared at all. And as I'm driving, she crawls over my lap, and I had a towel, and she was just burning up. And I took her to the vet. She was so sweet, just looking up at me. I took her to the vet, and I had done my duty. And about 4 months later, I get an email, and it's from the family who adopted her. And they send me this video. She's got fur grown back. She's healthy. She's playing with their kids in this video. And I'm telling you, it was like a drug. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was hooked because I realized, wow, I saved this little living being who has feelings and, knows things. And now she's bringing joy to this family. And it really was, it was like a drug. I grew up with dogs, but nothing crazy, and slowly got into rescue, and then learned the horrible things that went on with, backyard breeders and dog fighting and puppy mills. And I mean, it's horrific. And the pet lands of the world, they get their dogs from puppy mills, and they're selling dogs for $5,000. They're financing dogs.
It's insane.
And I can promise you, if you wanted a full-blooded German Shepherd, Shih Tzu, Poodle, whatever, I could find you that. I could find you a full-blooded dog in rescue. It may not be a puppy, but they don't stay puppies for long.
No.
And it might be a year old or 2 year, but 25% of the dogs in shelters and animal controls and rescue are full-blooded dogs. Yeah.
My parents, I know when we got 2 Weimaraners when I was younger, and those were our 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And we got them from breeders. Just because we couldn't find any in a rescue.
Yeah.
So that was their only option. It's a pretty rare breed that
you
don't see a lot of. So
I've never even heard that before.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
They're beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
And so that was those were the only dogs that we bought from a breeder. Every other dog that we've owned, including the one that I have, is from a rescue.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for rescuing.
They're amazing. They're some of the best dogs.
I truly believe that they know that they've been given a second chance.
Yeah.
And they're grateful. I really, really believe that.
I agree.
I have 4 dogs. I, go a little bit overboard at times, and they're amazing. They're all rescues, and they're amazing.
Oh yeah, mine's a rescue as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yours is a German.
Yeah, well, they said his dad was a full-bred German Shepherd and his mom was a mutt, and he looks like a German Shepherd without pointy ears.
Yeah,
like his ears are just floppy.
Yeah,
but
how funny!
But he's like cute. Everything else. Everybody says he's a German Shepherd. I'm like, you can totally tell. He just has his ears are flaccid or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
which I think makes him look less scary.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
those pointy ears are scary
for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I when I bought him or when we got him, I was like, are his ears? Because the lady was like, yeah, his ears might perk up, and I was like, are they? I was like, and so I was always like, are they gonna go? Are they gonna go? No, they've just stayed where they are.
Yeah,
which is fine. And me and Gina were just talking about this 2 nights ago, and I was like, we were like doing the math because we're like, how old is he? Is he 6? Or is he 7? And he's like, wow, he's about to turn 7. And it's crazy because this dog's he's been we got him at like a really kind of like a perfect time. It was like kind of right when I was leaving the career that I was in, kind of before I got into real estate and what I'm doing now. And so it's just like he's been there for this, like all these transitions in my life, moving from different houses, from we didn't have kids and now we have kids, and like he's just been there for everything. And I was like, man, like, and of course I'm like,
a big part of the podcast when we first started.
For sure.
You could hear him in the background on a few episodes.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But we were, I'm sitting on the couch, like getting kind of emotional because I'm like, okay, I'm kind of doing the math. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, like I don't have that much more time with him.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like
I know.
this one. I mean, I've had a lot of dogs in my life.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the 4th dog, but he was like the only dog that I ever had that was like mine. It was always like my parents, the family dog. This was the first dog that I got like on my own. And I was like, man, this is going to be one of the hardest things I'll ever have to go through whenever this one goes. Cause
They're family.
Oh my gosh. I look forward to him and I hang out every night. It's just like, ever since we've had kids, he's definitely kind of been, he's the lowest guy on the totem pole. He is what it is. We got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. So he definitely doesn't get as much attention as he used to, but it's like, okay, after the kids go to bed, he knows that like, all right, I'm crawling up right next to you. We're going to sit here and watch TV. We're going to go do whatever. Like he follows me around like a puppy still. Like no matter if I get up off the couch, he's coming with me. If I'm walking to the bathroom, if I'm going to the kitchen, he's where are we going?
Right.
Wherever I go, he goes. Yeah. And man, I've just never had a dog like this. And you just get so attached to them.
You do. Yeah. I mean, they do really become a part of your life and who you are. And absolutely.
I mean, when my ex-wife and I got divorced, we have a custody agreement for the dog. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Until I moved into the apartment, we're going back and forth with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that I'm in the apartment, she's got the house. She has him all the time, but like if they go on trips a lot, so I'll get them for a week here and there.
Yeah.
So but I mean, I'm always over at their house anyway with the boys and all that, and so get to spend all the time with them anyway. So but he's super protective too, which we took him to a trainer. Yeah, and which I found was weird. They're like, no, dogs don't get protective.
Oh, they're very territorial.
That's what I'm like. That should have been my clue right there. Like, why am I going to give you $2,000 to train my dog when you're like, dogs aren't territorial. Dogs don't get protective. Yeah. And because as soon, like, they're like, we would drop him off. They're like, oh, he's doing so good. He's doing great. I'm like, yeah, because my wife and kids aren't there.
Right.
I was like, can we do some sessions when they're around and see how he reacts? And so they're like, yeah, we're going to mix some of those in. And so we brought them in, and it was like everything that he had learned, he completely forgot. And because he's part Australian cattle dog. So he's a herder.
Yes.
And so anytime Alyssa and the boys are around, you'll see him, especially like when the boys are out in the front yard, he'll herd them away from the street or from anything that he deems as danger.
Correct.
And so when we brought him in there, he started doing that. And they're like, wow, we've never seen this before. This is so weird. I'm like, give me my fucking money back.
Yeah, right.
You guys are, trash.
Right.
Like, this is the first time you're seeing this? A dog like the kids? Like, I have something similar with our dog. Like, our dog, we walk regularly, even when we didn't have kids. Like, me and my wife would go for a 30-minute to an hour-long walk pretty much every night. And we'd always bring him, and we still do. Now that it's getting colder, it's a little harder, but his demeanor on walks once we had the kids in the stroller completely changed. He used to never like get dog aggressive.
Right.
But like if we're walking down the sidewalk and there's another dog walking toward us, he like gets very protective, and he used to not do that. And I was like, wow, I guess it's because of the kids.
Yes.
It's crazy. And
it is.
He just like felt he has a job.
They know.
Now. Yeah.
They know.
He's like, those are my babies too.
Yeah.
You know, I protect them.
Yes.
And it's just the coolest thing.
Have you guys ever heard of that pit bulls were called the nanny dog?
Yeah. My parents.
In the 20s and 30s. When people pit bulls were family dogs. And when everyone lived in the rural areas and they were, farming and, doing everything out on the farm, the kids would be playing in the yard, and the dogs, the pit bulls, would make sure that no one got close to them, that they weren't running off and, going whatever. Yeah, they were called the nanny dog.
Yeah. The very first rescue we got was a pit bull.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike the pit bull.
Yeah.
Mike the pit bull.
It's sad about, I have a full-blooded pit bull, one of my rescues, best dog I've ever had.
Amazing.
It's the owner. They get such a bad rap, just like Rottweilers used to do, and German Shepherds, and it's the owner.
Oh, totally.
And I'll be honest, I'm more afraid of a Chihuahua than I am a pit bull.
I've been bitten more by a Chihuahua than a pit bull. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think it's something people need to realize, when they're buying a certain kind of dog, that like, different dogs have different requirements.
Yes.
Like you can't, if you have a German Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois or one of these like dogs that are used to working, like you can't just leave that dog sitting on the couch all day. Like it needs a job. It needs something to do. It needs to be out, it needs to be moving. You need to wear that guy out because he is used to, he has a certain level of energy.
That's right.
It's like people that are athletes, for example, like you can't take that person and just make them go sedentary. Like they're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Like me personally, like if you took me and sat me in a cubicle for 8 to 9 hours a day, like I would lose my fucking mind.
Same.
And so like, that's what you're doing to this dog. So it's like, if you want a dog that's going to just chill on the couch and not want to do anything, not want to go for walks, then like buy a dog. There's plenty of dogs out there that fit that lifestyle.
Yes.
But if you're going to buy you want the dog that's going to be that has some requirements, like you better be willing to fill those requirements.
Yeah. So to that point, so many people do not do research when they're going to go get a dog. They go to a breeder, they spend thousands of dollars for a German Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois, Malinois, and then they're like, "Oh my God, this dog is crazy. I don't know how to handle it." And then that dog ends up they surrender that dog to animal control. He's or she is 1 or 2 years old. If it doesn't get adopted, it's put down.
Now, what's the timeline on that? Like
It really depends. It really depends on the shelter. If somebody surrenders or if it's found as a stray, there's like a stray hold amount of time for them to put out like, hey, this dog's been picked up by animal control. If this is your dog, come get your dog. If no one comes to get the dog, it's just a matter of time. If they're older, they're usually the first ones to go. So when the dogs are older and they need us the most, those are the ones who are being put down first. And that's why I started Second Chance Ranch.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is that?
Second Chance Ranch is a senior home for senior dogs.
Okay,
cool. So I want you to picture, it's an old farmhouse that we rehabbed, Valley Mount Ranch. If you're right down here in Valley Park, Steve and Laura Krause, they basically gave us this farmhouse to rehab. There are no kennels. There are no crates. It is decorated like a home. Every room has couches and TVs. We play jazz at dinner time.
That's awesome.
It's their home, and we're run by volunteers. There are no employees. And so we bring in senior dogs so picture this. You've got the aging of the baby boomers. They're going into assisted living. They're going to nursing homes. They can't take their dogs. They've lost a spouse. They have no one to take. Their family won't take the dog. So they're either going to put the dog down, or if we have room, we bring them in. If they have health issues, we get them healthy, and we adopt them out. We adopt out 80% of the dogs that come into us. So we have a senior to senior program. So think back to COVID, and we really learned that social isolation.
It's terrible for people.
It's extremely detrimental to our health.
It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing you can do. I mean,
yes.
Let's look at jails, for instance.
Yes.
You have a place that's full of murderers and rapists and just criminals.
Yes.
And the worst thing that they can do is they can put you in a cell by yourself in a room with no windows.
Yes.
Solitary confinement.
Yes.
That's the worst thing that they can do.
Worst thing.
You.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah,
and we're doing that to ourselves.
Yes.
In COVID.
Yes.
So okay, it might not be as bad because you got a TV with Wi-Fi.
Right.
But like,
right.
It's still horrible. We're social beings. We need other people.
Yes. So we have a seniors to seniors program where we have people looking to adopt. Maybe they've just lost their spouse. Maybe they've retired, no spouse, lonely. Their older dog just passed away. They don't want a puppy. They can't keep up with a puppy. So we match them with an older dog.
That's awesome.
But we get them healthy. And we do something very different than other rescues because we know that we're adopting out older dogs. We're completely donation run. So we tell them, listen, if something happens with the dog, if 6 months from now, a year from now, once a ranch dog, always a ranch dog, we'll help pay the vet bills. Oh, wow. We're not going to, because there are a lot of seniors on fixed incomes, right? Doesn't mean that they don't have the right to have a dog and love them,
right?
And they're fearful of, oh my gosh, what about the vet bills and this and that, And so we want them to be happy and not alone. And we want the dogs to have a loving home. And so we match them up and we stay in touch with them. We have reunions every year. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. You walk in and people say, wow, this is a happy place. Because you think of a rescue or a shelter, a lot of them are not happy places.
I feel like you're walking into a jail.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You're, lined up with kennels and crates and dogs get out maybe 15 minutes a day. And it's not the shelter's fault or the rescue's fault. It's the amount of people who are not taking responsibility for their animals, letting them run off and then get picked up by animal control or just going and buying breeders. It's supply and demand, right? If no one goes and buys dogs from breeders or Petland,
right,
they're going to stop because they're not making money. So, our thing is please adopt, don't shop. But for senior dogs, especially, it was important to me because they were kind of being thrown aside. And in our society, we're a disposable society. If something gets a little too old, we get rid of it. And that's what they were doing with their dogs. People would, surrender their dogs to animal control at Christmas to make room for the Christmas puppy because the back legs were a little weak or they were having trouble with incontinence. Well, it might be a medical issue or just put a wrap around him. There are solutions. So part of the whole how Dognity was born was people don't know these things. And if you think about it, think about all that dogs do for us. They see for the blind. They are canine dogs, right? They go in before the police officers at times. Mm-hmm. They are on the front line,
right,
with our troops.
Service dogs for the troops.
Yes.
Bomb
absolutely.
Dogs, drug dogs.
Yes. Yes. The dogs who are trained to tell that your blood glucose is dropping. Mm-hmm. And so they'll alert you or that you're getting ready to have a seizure and they'll lay down so that it breaks. Seriously.
I've seen some crazy videos.
Yes. So think about that as humans, we have a duty. They don't have a voice. So we have a duty to be their voice. And they do so much for us. Why are we treating them this way? So that's what the Dognity movement is about, is to educate people and raise money.
Well, because I know you guys go through a pretty vetted screening process when it comes to for adoption.
Oh, yeah. We very much so.
Why isn't there any legislation or anything like that around buying a dog?
Yes.
There needs to be more vetting when it comes to that. It's just insane. Are there any laws around like abandoning dogs or just leaving them out in the...
different states have different... It's like a state-to-state thing.
Gotcha. Where's Missouri? Does Missouri
Missouri is one of the worst, I think. And
that's probably why we're one of the largest
puppy mills.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, one of my sons, his 4 years at Mizzou, he worked at Jefferson City with the governor and the president pro tem, and they're all dog lovers. But you've got these representatives who are their rural constituents are backyard breeders and puppy mill owners, and that's how they make their money, and they're not going to make any changes. And that it's heartbreaking.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. And until the public stands up and says, no, something has to stop here. So we have to do better.
Yeah. I mean, like, always people say like, oh, I don't judge anybody. I sure as hell judge people based on how they treat other people and how they treat animals.
Yes.
And it's sad to think that there's people like that are in our, I guess it's not, because it's still sad, but
yes,
it's terrible that we've got people like that are leading our state, leading our country. I don't know. I think definitely something needs to change.
Something needs to change. And I'm not going to say his name, but we have a congressman from Missouri whose mother's one of the top rated worst puppy mill owners. Yeah. And you can Google find out who it is, but I don't need a lawsuit or anything like that.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
They can look it up themselves.
Yeah. Well, and it's out there.
We'll leave it for Murph. Murph, if you want to throw in a clip or edit it. And
yeah. I really don't probably need to do that. But it is, and we need to do better. We need to just from a humanity.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that I just do a lot of reading and I work with trainers and I talk with vets. Dogs have the cognitive ability of a toddler. I know a lot of I have a grandson who's 18 months old. That he is smart.
I got a 3-year-old that can,
right? Right?
I think back to my 6 and 7-year-old, man. They're
they know.
Yeah.
And no one will ever convince me that dogs don't have feelings. They grieve. I mean, we see it at the ranch. If one of our dogs passes away, and they do, if the other 20% of the dogs that they live at the ranch for the rest of their life, and we give them, our mission statement is we give them the best life for the rest of the life they have, whether it's a day, a week, a year. And we work really closely with our vets to make sure that we're not letting them suffer. But as they're getting up there and they have health issues, we make that decision with our vets. If they're able to, they get a filet dinner with mashed potatoes and chocolate and ice cream. And, we tell them how much they are loved. But those other 20%, when you go back and that dog is gone, you can see that they're missing, that they know something is different, and they know.
Well, if you go and look on social media or anything online, some of the best videos are dog reaction videos.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I could sit there and watch those things all day, especially the ones like when they chew something up, or they're just like,
I know.
Yeah, they're high. Like they know. They know.
They know.
Tell me they've got feelings. They're scared. They know what's happened.
Absolutely.
And they feel guilt about that. But
they're excited to see you. Yeah. And, really, they have unconditional love. Oh. They don't, you could be having the worst day. You could, be fighting with everybody, or you could lose your job, or you could do whatever. They don't care if your house is messy. They don't care if you have no money. They don't care what kind of car you drive. They don't care how much money you have in the bank. All they care about is that they love you and you love them. And that's kind of beautiful.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah.
I think of all the times where my dog he's been there when I needed him, whether if I'm sick, if I'm hurt, if I've got something going on, like he's just always right there, like always happy to see me.
Yes.
Like always just there when you need him.
Yes.
And it's just something that you can't replace that.
You can't.
I forget what it was that I was reading recently. But it was something along the lines that they've studies on dogs, that they have the ability to sense energies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, especially, they'll get tied to one person because they are so connected to that person's energy that it just calms them.
Yes.
When that person's not around, they're super anxious.
Yes.
But as soon as they can sense that person's near them, they immediately relax. And then it's not that they're following them around or anything because they want something or they need something. They're following them around because they want to stay as close to that energy as possible.
Yeah.
And that's why you always see it too, is I feel like dogs have a great sense of who people are. And so, I've got certain members of my family that my dog won't go anywhere near.
Yeah.
And if he does come, he will spaz out and he'll get into an attack position and ready to bite. And he's not like that with many people.
Yeah.
But he does do that with certain people in my family. And knowing those people in my family, it's just makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they really do, They know if someone doesn't necessarily like them. I'm not sure I could ever really trust somebody who doesn't like a dog.
Same.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, there's something off with you if you don't like a dog, because dogs are amazing. And like, they really are.
I mean, what's not to like?
Right.
I mean, sure, there's some dogs out there that are, but there's a lot of people out there I don't want to be around either.
100%.
Right.
100%. I'd much rather spend time with dogs than a lot of people.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But honestly, if you go back and look at it, you can all go back to basic how they were raised.
Yes.
Why don't you? Probably don't want to be around the person that raised them either.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right.
So
yeah, my dog's still weird about people on bikes and people on ladders.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this because there was this guy, he was like this homeless guy that my in our old house there was our next door neighbor was 100 years old. He was in World War II. He's since passed away, but he used to pay this homeless guy to like come do yard work for him. And anytime this homeless guy would show up on his bike, he would lose his mind. And this old guy would always this homeless guy would always like climb up on my neighbor's roof and just sit there with no shoes on, drinking like a tall boy out of a plastic or out of a brown paper bag, like something you'd see out of a cartoon. But I think this guy was messing with him at some point. Like I remember, I don't know for sure, but I'm like, there has to have been something there, because still to this day, he's 7 now. This was probably happened when he was 1 or 2. Anytime someone's putting their Christmas lights up or anybody's on a ladder, even if I'm on a ladder, he's like, he loses his mind.
Wow.
And we're like, he just like knows that ladders, and the guy always showed up on a bicycle. So he's like, if somebody's riding a bike in front of our house, he's always like barking and like lets us know. And then especially if someone gets a ladder out, he really starts losing his mind. Those are like his 2 weird little triggers, but like he knows it's the crazy. So he associates those things with this guy that probably, messed with him at some point, you know, or I don't know what happened, because it was a really short fence, it was about a 3-foot fence. So I don't know if he reached over and threw something at him or hit him or something. I have no idea what happened, but it could have been anything. But so he just knows that, he associates those things with like a bad guy.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Yeah. Duke is, so when I first, and even still, when I'm getting undressed and I take my belt off, he's gone, just takes off. And I'm like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
And then also he doesn't like if I give the boys a high five, or even any time that you put your hand up, like you're going to, he is on you ready to bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So like the boys will come up and like, Dad, high five. We'll go to give a high five. And he loses his shit.
Yeah. 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 They have, especially rescue dogs, they do have past traumas.
Totally.
And so, you see them, you recognize them, and then you figure out a way to deal with them. Yeah.
Now, what are the differences between, I know there's a lot of different like rescue programs out there. Yeah. Like, are there differences between them? What's the variance there?
There, like, just take St. Louis. There are a lot of big rescues, right? So like Stray Rescue is an amazing rescue. They're in the city. And then you've got a lot of little smaller rescues. Most of them are all, donation run, foster based. So they don't necessarily have brick and mortar, but they've got, they have foster.
Kind of the one we got ours from.
Yeah. And then you have like the Humane Society, which, is also a kill shelter, by the way.
Not so humane.
Not so humane. And then you've got the animal controls, which is a little bit different. They're more of a part of the government and things, but animal controls, that's where you're going to get the euthanasia, the every week, every day.
Every week, every day. And so, and you said it just varies, like the timeline that
it really does. It depends really. Like I will get things coming across my feeds and my Facebook. Code red. This dog is out of time on Friday, 12/5, unless a rescue can tag and pull that dog, because they're just getting so many dogs in, they don't have room.
Now, have you connected with any of these places? And like, hey, before you even do that, can you call me?
We do every week. They will send out a notice, and I have connections with a lot of things, and all the rescues do. They try to pull as many as they can, but a lot of it depends on money and space.
Well, and you can only take so many.
And I hate that saying. Well, can't save them all. And you can't. God, I wish we could, but I hate that we're in this position. Mm-hmm. That's part of starting the dog dignity movement, is to get us out of this position. Their rescue is a Band-Aid. It is not going to stop until people start spaying and neutering their animals, not letting them run, and we stop going and buying dogs from backyard breeders and puppy mills and pet stores. It's the only thing. And, I would love to see there be a spay and neuter mandate. We're mandated to vaccinate our dogs. Right. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know when the last time a dog had rabies. And it's a good thing, right? But why can't we mandate spay and neuters? And I know that it's costly. And so that's part of the dog dignity movement, is like the sweatshirt I have on. It's a website where you can go and you can buy T-shirts and sweatshirts, and part of the money goes to a rescue. So you go onto the website. Before you pay, you have to pick a rescue that part of the money will go to, because all of these rescues are just drowning in vet bills and food and everything. And then the other part of the money for the sweatshirt or T-shirt or whatever it is goes to spay and neuter programs. And, it's kind of grassroots, but you have to start somewhere, right? Yeah. And I hope one day we're able to get this out to everyone, because I talk to rescuers all across the country. They're in the exact same position we are here in Missouri. They're drowning.
And how many dogs are you can your facility take in at one time?
Yeah. So Second Chance Ranch, it's upstairs and downstairs, and we added like 1,200 square feet about 2 summers ago and made a big room. The most that we can have, like, physically, is probably 25, but then we also have dogs and fosters as well. But our monthly vet bills are between $15,000 and $20,000 a month.
Holy cow!
Crazy overhead.
I mean,
that's just vet bills.
And that's just vet bills. It's not utilities. It's not food.
And I can imagine what the food bills like.
Well, and a lot of our senior dogs are on prescription. Sure. And something, and this is me, but a lot of them also don't have teeth, so they can't necessarily eat hard kibble. So, we do things differently. Every meal they get baked chicken and sirloin.
Every meal?
Every meal.
Wow. Oh, wow.
2 meals a day. They get them. They get, we make sure, because senior dogs, like humans, as we get older, we need more protein. So we do baked chicken, and our volunteers are amazing. They, donate the chicken and the sirloin. We have a cooking team who bring it in, every couple days. And, we have their prescription food. We always have dog bone broth that is good for their gut. Their meds, we go out of our way to make sure that they are living their best life.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you could snap your fingers and like change one thing regarding like dog rescue, like all this, like just the dog crisis.
Yes.
Like what would that one thing be?
I think just everyone realizing to adopt and not shop, to stop going to breeders, that having a dog is amazing. Rescue dogs are not broken. They've just been let down by humans. And I think it's a misconception that people have, like, oh gosh, that dog's probably, is in a shelter or it's in a rescue. It has issues. No. And every dog needs to be trained in some way, by us, like, just like our kids, we have to teach them right from wrong. Same thing with dogs. They don't come to us just knowing everything and behaving beautifully. So, those expectations, but really it's just, not buying from breeders.
I mean, it's like, vote with your dollar kind of thing.
Yes.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
These puppy mills are not going to be around if people stop buying them.
Correct.
Eventually they're going to go out of business.
Correct. And the big doodle craze, right? I mean, there are so many doodles in rescue. So many. We just had 3 in a month, and they all got adopted.
Because they're so hyper and people don't understand that?
Well, our situations were really different. But yes, I think that is, but here's what happened. You know why those dogs get that way? Because they overbreed that mom. Mm-hmm. And by the time she's having 7, 8, 9 litters, those dogs have issues.
Right.
Especially if they're,
inbred.
Yes. Yeah. And so, yes, the dogs are going to have issues. So, and people don't want to deal with it, or, they've got kids and dogs and they think that, hypoallergenic and whatever, but the dog's crazy. So then we have to, get rid of it. And again, invest in some training if that's the situation. Don't just get rid of your dog, but too much overbreeding. Yeah.
I guess a lot of people just don't know what they're signing up for when they get a dog.
Agreed. I think doing research on it, really making sure that you have the time to have that dog. If you work 8 hours a day, you and your spouse, or you're alone and you're gone all the time, you don't want to get a dog who has so much energy that it's climbing the walls, and that's the thing. Or if you do get a dog, then take it to doggy daycare 3 days a week, do something, or hire a dog walker. I have a friend who owns a dog walking company, and
well, now it's almost like there's like an app like Uber.
Yeah, like Rover.
Yeah.
You can hire somebody in your area to come and walk your dog a couple times a day.
Really?
Yeah.
I might just start doing that for some extra money.
Yeah. Little side hustle. But there are
get your steps in.
Yeah. Yes. But there are solutions to problems. You just have to, maybe the first 3 ideas you have don't work out. Well, just keep going. And, be solution focused, and don't just give up on that animal, and again, it would be beautiful if we didn't have puppy mills, if we didn't have backyard breeders, if we had stricter laws, and people really were intentional about, I'm going to get a dog who's been let down. I'm going to love it up, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think about how much I've loved every single dog that we've had.
Yeah.
And then to get one that might be a little bit older and know that time's going to be that much shorter with it. That would just, that's the tough part for me.
That's one of the things with us, right? So we have younger people who adopt the senior dogs.
Yeah.
Now, it's not just, the seniors. And something that I tell every person who adopts, and I've learned this because every dog that passes from the ranch that they've lived with us, I think the number is 52 in the last 4.5 years. We started in 21. I've been with 3 of them. And it weighs heavily on you.
Take a piece of you.
It does. But here's what I know from talking with trainers and veterinarians and just really and reading a lot, is that dogs don't fear death because they don't know about it. So when your dog is sick, first of all, you never want them to suffer. And their lives are shorter than ours because they know a lot already. We take a lot of years. Humans take a lot of years to get it right. They're almost
perfect right off the bat.
That's right. So they don't need that many years. So they don't fear death. So when I go with them and I know it's time and they've had their meal and they're laying in my lap, they're just going to sleep. And I know that all the other ranch dogs in heaven that have gone are waiting for them. And that brings me peace. And I'm going to cry almost. So I'm going to stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
People crying here all the time.
Pat. Almost every episode. Got me tearing up over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how has rescuing dogs changed your relationship with your own family?
You know what? I love that my children, they're all very much empaths like me. And I think that they see that life isn't just about getting more, making more money, doing this. Of course, we have to live and we have to do what we have to do, but it's about doing for others. And when you save a dog, you think, oh, you're just saving the dog. No, that person who adopts that dog, I cannot tell you the number of texts and emails and phone calls and messages I get from people saying, I have a new purpose. I'm not lonely anymore. This dog has become such a part of me now, and they're grateful. And so not only did we impact that dog's life, we've helped impact and change that human's life. And that is, it's a wonderful feeling. And so with my family, my kids see how hard I work. And, we have a saying around our house, GSD, get shit done. Like, don't complain, don't whatever, get it done. And they see how dedicated I am to this. And that's what I want them I want to model that, and that I'm doing good. I work. I, do and I want them to see that, you're never too busy to do good. And I'm doing myself along with all of our volunteers. We're doing good. And if everybody did that, this world would be different. I truly believe that. In whatever realm, animals, humans, kids, whatever that is. And so it's important to me to leave that legacy for my children, to say, you know what? Be the good for somebody, or an animal, or a person, or be the good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the goals that you guys have moving forward for Secondhand Ranch, and then also Dognity?
Yeah. So Second Chance Ranch, our goal is really we're going to have a strategy session end of this month, really growing our base. We're donation run, so it's just trying to create as many streams of revenue as we can. I have a couple of ideas that I recognize. I've been in sales my entire life. You have to you have to have a differentiator. You have to do things a little bit different than everybody else if you want to succeed.
Stand out,
stand out and succeed. And we're different anyway because we do senior dogs, so it's different. But for Dognity, our goal is just to spread the word. I want to do as many podcasts. I want to do as many radio shows. I want to do as many things that we can to educate somebody in California to stop, buying from the puppy mills and the backyard breeders. We have to make that change in order to stop what's going on. We need people to know, like you guys did not know, 10,000 dogs are going to die today.
I was literally just thinking about that. I was like, it's just a mind-boggling number.
It is. In the United States,
70,000 dogs a week. And what is 52 times 7,000?
It's over. I think it's
300 something, 314,000.
It's a lot of dogs a year.
64.
36,400 dogs a year. It's crazy.
Is it?
Well, let's see. 10,000 times 365.
I'm sorry. So 3 million. I'm way off.
It's 3 million.
3 million. 3.6 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dogs a year
are
getting killed.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Exactly. Think about, just like if you really think about that, like what kind of world are we living in that we're allowing that?
Yeah.
Like really,
problem.
It's a huge problem. Were we not put on this earth, and I don't want to, go down a rabbit hole, but I feel that we are put on this earth to do good. That is not good.
No.
And I just don't understand it. And there are so many horrible things in this world, right? Like this is just one of them. But this is the one that
this is your cause.
This is what I'm doing, So do it up.
Yeah.
Like get the word out.
What state's the best for?
So I just read that Pennsylvania just signed a law that no more pet stores can sell backyard dog, puppy mill dogs, that they have to do rescue dogs. So I love that.
Which is great. Well, because there's a big Amish community in
there
Pennsylvania.
There is. Yes. So I love that.
That's
in
awesome.
fact, I literally made a note to myself. I need to do more research on that and find out how they got that passed. Yeah. Like who spearheaded that? Like who connected the dots on that? Yeah.
I just had no idea that we were living in the worst one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I had no idea.
We are.
I have no idea. Like I've been here my whole life.
I'm constantly hearing, about, I see it a lot on social media. It's one of the things that I follow is dog rescues and things like that. And I know that the shelters are constantly overflowing. And then there's another loan officer at my company who's big with Paws for Rescue and things like this, and he donates a lot to stuff like that. He's currently fostering 14 dogs.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Him and his wife don't have kids.
Yes.
And their kids have always been their golden retrievers that they've always had.
Yeah.
They've always had golden retrievers.
Yeah.
And I think they have 3 of their own Goldens. And then they currently have 14.
Yeah.
They have a mother and 13 puppies.
Wow.
Currently at their house now.
Wow.
They've got the space and all that. They live in Barnhart. They live on multiple acres, and
But that's amazing because it's a lot of work.
And he's constantly, I mean, I bet if we get off here, I probably have at least one, maybe two emails from him about dogs that they have that are up for adoption.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's another part is, every rescue here that is foster based, they're constantly looking for fosters. They're constantly needing, they can only save dogs. There are times when we're full and I'm like, hey guys, I just got a message about this dog who really needs rescue, but we're full. And so I need a foster, and foster, you provide everything for the foster, but it's just them being able to give
house the dog
and give them love. And, because sometimes we get dogs and it's from a bad situation and we have to basically teach them how to be loved. And it's so gratifying when you see them change from the day that they come in and they're just broken. And then the day that they leave to go to their new family, and they were loved by our volunteers so much that they were able to trust humans again, for the first time.
Is there a dog in particular that comes to mind thinking about this?
Yes. Yes, there's so many, but Charlotte was a dog. She was a foxhound. And, 2 years ago in January, she came to us. We got a call about her in end of November. She was a hunting dog. And
if you got pictures, send them to us. And we
I
can
will
have those put into the.
I will, because I want people to. She kind of is the epitome of people doing wrong by a dog and the fighting spirit that she had. So she was found in a field, and I have the video of it, which is horrible. She had a broken back and they left her. She was trying to move and she had on collars with numbers on them and a phone number. So they weren't that smart.
Yeah.
This was in Southeast Missouri. And so lovely woman, Patricia Whiffen, she's a great rescuer in Southeast Missouri. And she called me and she's like, listen, I know, I understand if you say no, but this dog has a broken back. We're at the vet. They think that they can do surgery. I said, if they think they can do surgery, let's do it. We paid for it. She was in medical fostering for a month. They couldn't move her. And then she came to the ranch. Couldn't walk. Had no use of her back legs. By June, she was walking. We have video of her walking alongside another dog as a volunteer was, and it was the most amazing thing to see. And she was a fighter. I mean, from the, you could just see she had that will.
And how old was she when you got her?
She was probably 9 or 10. But, and she passed away last year. We ended up, she just lived her life out at the ranch because first of all, we all loved her. And there were times where you still had to pull her up from the back end. And, a lot of people couldn't take that on. And we get that. But when she first came to us, she didn't necessarily want you to love on her or, I'm the type, I'm going in and I'm hugging and, kissing them and whatever. But by the time that she left us, I would clean her ears out. She would lean and she would, get so happy. And you could just see we changed her life. And to me, she's a living being. So she has feelings and emotions. And so she was so important because she was a fighter. So she comes to mind only because how much we did change her life. Wow. And then there was a husky that came to us named Kaya, whose owners, she had diabetes and they just didn't give her insulin. She lost her eyesight. And then they basically abandoned her. So we brought her to the ranch and we did insulin shots twice a day, checked her blood. And I started reading about it. And Mizzou Veterinary, I reached out to them and I said, hey, is there any way that she would be appropriate for lens replacement surgery? She was. And we gave her sight back.
Wow.
And we have video of the first time she saw color again. And I'm telling you, it was amazing. So those are the kind of things we do. Yeah.
Now, how can people volunteer or donate or?
Yeah. So today is Giving Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah. So we have a Venmo. We have a website, secondchanceranchstl.org. You can sign up to be a volunteer. It's an application and then we train you. And we have the donate button on there. It's not a fancy website, but I won't spend money on a fancy website. You know, like if I can do it on GoDaddy, that's what I'm going to do because I'm going to spend money on the baked chicken and the grilled sirloin.
And the sirloin, you know. Vet bills.
Yes, yes. That's we loved having new people volunteer. You don't have to do a set amount of hours. You can come, you know, every Friday for 2 hours and we're always there. We have 2 people spend the night every night. So there's always somebody there 24/7. And 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., we have shifts throughout the day for volunteers. So we have young college students, we have, you know, senior citizens and everything in between. Yeah.
Do you guys do any big events or anything like that?
Yeah, we just did an event with Kyle Metz's band. Okay. They played over at the Red Barn at Valley Mount Ranch, and it was awesome. We do probably like 3 or 4 a year. We're constantly doing, you know, we did a trivia night, and we did a trivia night here, actually. And so we're always constantly looking at different things. We're looking to maybe do a walk next year. But part of the thing is like with Dignity, I'd like to do a walk and have all the rescues involved so that they can all make money.
Yeah.
Because they all need it. You know, I'm not in competition with anybody because if you're helping save a dog, I'm in, you know? Yeah. And so, if you get donations, awesome, because you can take home more dogs or us or whatever. There's no need to have any competition in that. So, yeah.
Yeah. One of the big ones that I just support a lot is Dogs for Our Braves.
Yes.
Dogs for Our Brave. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that
organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
So.
It's amazing. And, you know, and I can't talk, every rescue here is great. And the dedication, you know, I mean, gosh, Stray Rescue takes in some of the cases. Holy Moses. You see that and you're like, you know, but everyone does.
Yeah, that's who actually, that's the one that the guy that I work with, that's who he donates a lot of his stuff and time to is Stray Rescue.
They're great. You know, it really and truthfully, everybody is here, you know, and they're all dedicated.
I feel like we have to be if you're going to be in the number one.
You have to be
state for animal cruelty from what it sounds like.
Every day it is just constant emails. Can you help this dog? Can you help? I mean, it's like, it's overwhelming and it can, you know, it's, what's that called? Caregiver or, can't think of what it is, but it's like a fatigue. Like you just get to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can take one more phone call or one more email because it's heartbreaking. Yeah, you know, when you see a picture of a dog and you know, you can't help them. You know, and if I know that if we get a request to help a dog and we just either can't take them in or whatever, I'm constantly trying to find another rescue. Please, can you help this dog? You know, because it haunts you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say the hardest part of your job is? Is it that? Just like dealing with
the
loss?
It is.
You know, to say no to a dog.
Saying no to a dog. And seeing that picture and knowing that, you know, some people will call and leave a message and say, if you don't take, you know, my mom's seen your dog, I'm just going to go put it down. And you're like, man, that is a lot to put on somebody that you don't even know. You're like, you know.
Right. Like you're just playing, you know, they're just like, well, I know you have a heart because I don't have one.
Right.
Yeah. Like, do you want it or not?
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
What an ultimatum.
Yeah. I mean, I got an email the other day from this wonderful networker down in Poplar Bluff. There's a dog there named Cohen, and his owner and he had been together for 10 years. And the man is a veteran and he would run into hard times and be homeless. And so they would take Cohen in. And then when the man, you know, had shelter again, he would get back. Well, they sent me an email saying, unfortunately, there will not be another reunion because his owner had to go into a nursing home. And Cohen is at the animal control and you know, in the shelter, and he's grieving the loss of his owner and he's sad and whatever. And she's like, my only wish is that you can take him. Like, how? Oh.
Right.
So he's coming this weekend. And I'm like, okay, I'll make room somewhere, you know? Yeah. So, but that is the hardest part, is that you can't help every one of them. And my dream would be that there are no dogs to rescue.
Right.
Yeah. That would be.
The dream is that you're out of a job.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That there's no need for rescues anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Tracy, I mean, what you're doing is it's amazing. I mean, you have a giant heart. It's really inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming in here today and talking to us.
Yeah. I think one thing I wanted to say is that, even when you're older, I think to most people, find your passion. And when you find it, it like completes a part of you. If you're able to live it out, whatever that may be. But I think it's important to really find your passion and what's important outside of your family. Of course, they're always number one and that, but there's something inside of each of us that we long for.
I couldn't agree more. I think, all of us have some sort of purpose, no matter what that is.
Absolutely.
And I think there's just so many people out there that are just kind of complacent, kind of where they are.
Yes.
They're making do, they're paying their bills, they're going to work every day, clocking in, clocking out.
Yes.
Doing what they need to do to, kind of make it. And they kind of forget that they need to live too.
Well, they do. I mean, I will turn 60 in June.
Oh, you look great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. You got my good side.
Yeah, we got your good side.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm just starting. And I know that sounds weird, but, I've had a great career in healthcare and been in sales my whole life. And that was great. But I feel like I'm just starting on this road. And I'm like, you're never too old. Learn something new. Definitely. And I'm learning so many things. And, I just don't think you ever want to stop getting better.
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of our audience is high school, college, people coming out of college, young people, and trying, like, that's your sign that you don't have to have it figured out when you get out of school. Like, you don't have to have it figured out right away. There's so many things in life that can cause changes and things like that. And you might be on one line, one road, one path that you think is the way to go. And then the next thing you know, something, life throws you a curveball or something. And next thing you know, you're on a completely different path. So.
Absolutely. I always tell my kids, when you do good in your life, whatever that is, good things will come to you. You will find that path, but my friend, one of my best friends, Judy, she always says, be the good. And I really taken that because there is, like I said, a lot of bad in this world. And so if you can be a part of the good of something, good things will happen. We all get lost. I can't tell you how many times, in my 60 years, I've been lost and like, gosh, am I questioning? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right career? Am I doing, just keep going and find help, be a helper.
You're not happy. Figure out what it is that makes you happy. And go do that thing.
Because you have one life. You have one life on this earth, man. Make it
count.
Make it count.
Yeah.
Make it that you only needed one life.
Right.
Because you got stuff done.
So, I mean, I think one of the worst things that can happen to you is, you're laying on your deathbed and you have regrets.
100%. And that is a fear, I think, that I have. I think everyone probably has. You look back and you go, man, I didn't do a whole lot. I sat at a desk for 8 hours and, lived for the weekend. And then Sunday night had huge regrets. Oh God, Monday morning. That's the worst feeling in the world.
What's that trend that's going on right now that you see posted all over social media? That you're in your 20s and that job, you're getting that job offer, take it. Or like,
it's that thing they're doing. They're like, when you see this, it's like, it's important that you make that decision or whatever.
It's important that you take that job, or it's important that you date that person, or it's important that you, So, but that's the thing is like, hey, it's important when you're 50 years old and you want to save dog's life, you go and save dog's lives.
You go do it.
Yeah, you go and do it.
Just do it. And if it doesn't work, just try.
Yeah.
Just try. Just try it. If it doesn't work out, fine. Go try something else.
You're not going to regret trying.
You're going to learn something.
That's right. That's right. And if you stop learning and stop growing as a person.
Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
We have a little saying in here. We're like a tree. If you're not growing, you're dying.
That's right.
So always be growing.
Yes.
Always be evolving. Always be. Yeah. I mean, every day is a new day to try something new.
Even when sharks are asleep, they're moving.
Yes.
So be a shark.
What's that? Yes. What's that? Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great movie.
My favorite.
Oh,
yes.
It's one of mine for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Of course. Well, thank you. And so just one more time, how do people get a hold of you? How do they donate? How do they get involved?
Yes. So Second Chance Ranch, STL.org. They can even Google Second Chance Ranch in Valley Park and we'll come up. dog rescue, and our website. There's a donate button there, and there's an application to volunteer. If people want to come by, if anyone is looking to adopt a dog, we have some amazing dogs right now that are ready for their forever homes. You just, email us and we set up a time for a meet and greet, and then we do a home visit and all sorts of background checks. No.
Sure. Yeah. You should.
We do. Yeah.
Good. Well, before we get you out of here, we end the show the same way every time. So before we get you out of here, Pat's got one last question for you.
Play a little game. We call it the tombstone game.
Okay.
Here lies Tracy. What's it say on your tombstone?
She gave more than she took.
Perfect.
Perfect. I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you again for coming in. And thanks to everybody at home that watched or listened to this episode. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That would help us out a ton. We're really trying to grow the show and try to get to, our goal is to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube before the end of 2025. So help us hit that goal. We're slowly creeping up there. Share this episode with a friend. If you're interested in donating, please look into, or volunteering, please look into Tracy's organization. And share this episode with a friend. Comment what you thought below, and we will see you next time.